We are quite happy to have you. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Okay, so we're going to go ahead and get started. Can you tell us what your current occupation is and a little bit about what you do?
Sure. So my name is Felicia Haney, and I am the owner and executive director of Beach Street Publicity. And what Beach Street Publicity is, it's a boutique or a smaller size firm where we handle public relations, media relations, and a term that's probably more familiar with you guys would be content creation. I would date it all the way back to when I was in high school. I had so many things that I thought I wanted to do. I wasn't sure on like one particular one that I wanted to go to school for. In the beginning, I thought that it was psychology, and I thought that because I knew that I like to talk to people. So I was like, I like to talk to people. I like to know what's on their mind. So, maybe I want to be a psychologist or a psychiatrist, where I'm sitting in my office and I got people on my couch and I'm picking their brains. So I went to college. I took my first psychology class ever, and I absolutely hated it. So I knew that I wanted to switch gears. I just didn't know exactly what that was. So ironically, I was just having a conversation, casual conversation with a cousin of mine, and she was like, Felicia Haney, you have a name like a newscaster. Like you'd be like, hi, I'm Felicia Haney reporting live. And when she said that, something just clicked, and it was just that. So it was kind of this epiphany in that moment, like, wow, I've always liked to write. When I was young, I went to Roxborough Elementary School, which is in the Cleveland Heights School District. And I won my first award for writing, and that continued kind of throughout my school years. I was always kind of praised for my writing, but I never thought of making a career out of it. And it wasn't until she said that to me that it just clicked. And I was like, never thought of that. Maybe I should look into it. And I did look into it, and I changed my major, and I just never looked back. So after college, I did do an internship at the Call and Post newspaper. And I ended up working there for 13 years after I did my internship. So I spent time as a journalist there. And throughout my time there, I just got a chance to meet a lot of people. I covered culture, arts, and entertainment. So I was just always connecting people. So I decided to open up my own firm where I was like, well, if I'm always connecting people, like why not get paid for that? So I started going into public relations. I still write. I still consider myself a journalist. So let me say that. But I did branch off into more public relations and media relations. And so now, instead of just the term journalist, I do tend to go for content creator because I create all types of content for different platforms. Well, I am a proud graduate of the Cleveland Heights High School. I always like to say that. Proud graduate of Cleveland Heights High School. I went on to attend Norfolk State University, which is an HBCU in Norfolk, Virginia. I unfortunately did not graduate from there though. So I did come back home. Well, I went to New York first. I have a long career with school. So just wanted to put that out there to say that as long as you keep going, guys, you reach that final destination, that's all that matters. So I attended Brooklyn College, and then I came home and I graduated from Ursuline College, is where I got my undergrad degree. And then I have a master's degree from Kent State University. I'm actually, I have a 2-year degree from Tri-C as well. So shout out to local community colleges. That is also an important route and a less expensive route. So, but nevertheless, it gets the job done. So shout out to Tri-C. Oh man, there's so many. So like I said already with school, I didn't take a traditional route. So I worked most of the time while I was in school. And sometimes, that ended up taking precedence over, finishing a semester sometimes. So I've had all kinds of job experiences. I think my very first job was at Mark's, and I did retail. I worked in the mall forever. I worked at a card store though, but I actually loved it, and it really is a tribute to what I ended up becoming in terms of writing, but just I would do invitations and things like that. I worked at a store called Papyrus, which I don't think exists any longer, but it used to be at Beechwood Mall. I worked there. I've worked, oh man, a little bit of everything. A nanny, actually, which is weird. So when I lived in New York and I was going to school, I actually was a nanny. So I'd have to get up in the morning, drop a kid off at school, come back, do my work, do my schoolwork, and then pick her up from school and cook and all of that stuff. So I've kind of had it all. And then I got more into my profession actually once I moved back to Cleveland. Like I said, I did intern for the Call and Post newspaper and ended up working there for 13 years. And out of that, I've just grown to wear so many hats. I also serve as the creative director for the Greater Cleveland Urban Film Festival. So we are a film festival that happens once a year. And in that role, I help creatively bring things to the festival, ultimately bring things to do to Cleveland. So I am happy for that. I also host a radio show once a week on Wednesday nights. It's called Chill Talk, and it comes on Radio 1, 1490 AM. But you can also see us on Facebook and YouTube. And it's pretty cool.
So it sounds like you have variety. They say variety is the spice of life.
Yes.
So tell us a little bit about what you feel the benefit has been to you having a variety of different experiences along the way.
I'm just a person who I love variety. I like change. That's probably one of the reasons why I like to travel and just see different things. So, but just taking all of those different experiences, they help shape and mold you into the person that you desire to become. So I don't think necessarily that there's one straight road or narrow path. And maybe there is for some people. Some people know what that is early. They have that vision, they see it, and they just set out, and they're fortunate enough to go ahead and execute that. My path had lots of twists, turns, forks in the road, things of that nature, but I'm actually happy for it. I think just overcoming obstacles has helped me in so many ways. So now I can see certain obstacles coming, and I can change my path and my direction to say, oh, not gonna go there. I've been down that road already. So I think adversity and things like that, they build character, and they make us who we are. So I wouldn't trade the experiences for the world, good or bad. I've got good, and I got lots of good and some bad experiences, but they make us who we are.
Yes, absolutely. Were there any people along your path that served as maybe inspirations or motivational people in your life along the way?
Sure, absolutely. So actually my grandfather, who he has since passed away, but he had his master's degree, and at the time, that was kind of rare back. My granddad was almost 100 years old when he passed away. He was born in 1917. So when he got his master's degree, it wasn't even called Case Western Reserve at that time. I think it was just Western Reserve or something like that. That was a big thing. And so I always aspired, to do those types of things, to be successful and to have that in my background. But he actually threw me for a loop one day when I was when I had made the decision to go into journalism and I decided that was my field. And he said, "Oh, well, that's kind of competitive. Why don't you think about something like teaching, or something that's a little bit more safe?" And I was like a little bit offended by that, because I knew that he meant well, and he was just looking out for my best interest by saying like, "Oh, it's going to be, like really difficult, or it can be really difficult." And he wanted me to have something that I guess you consider was, like he said, a more safe career, which could or could not be the case. But coming from his generation, that was more of a safe choice. But that gave me motivation, because I was like, well, just because it's difficult doesn't mean that I can't do it, So that actually made me want to do it even more, and show him that I can still achieve what I want to achieve, and I can get a master's degree just like you, but in the field that I want to get it in. So he helped, sir, he was kind of a catalyst in more than one way. There was a good aspect of it and maybe a not so good aspect of it. But I ended up making it work out. It is really always a roller coaster ride. If anyone else, if you're on social media today, you know that, content is king. So we are constantly, doing this, holding our phones, scrolling. People are just always looking, for the next thing to pique their interest. So it is definitely a grind, And so what I do is I help my clients with conventional and unconventional ways of marketing. So some of the conventional things are just like old school ways. If you have something, you want to get it on television and a newspaper, that type of marketing. It still exists and it's still effective. So I do that, but like I said, more so that unconventional way is where I have to use my mind to be more creative and say, what will grab people's attention. So constantly always thinking of ways of how I can work on someone's project. And when I take on a project, I really try to do that on a per project basis. So what I mean by that is I don't have just like a general rule of thumb. Like if you came to me and said, "Hey, I've got this website and I really don't know what to do with it. Like I want to drive people to it, but I don't really know how to get it out there." So my job is to help you come up with some creative content, fill in those things. You got all these different tabs, but you have no information to put there to share with people. So I'll do that. Or everyone wants to be on social media, but everyone doesn't necessarily have, doesn't know what they want to say. Let me say that. They're like, I want to be on social media. I want a bunch of followers and I want, but how do I achieve that? So it's just tapping into what this person is what their end goal is, what they're really trying to achieve, and coming up with ways to do it. So it changes every day. It is a constant, business that's just fast paced, always moving. And so it changes a lot. Yeah, every day. Like I said, I'm based in entertainment. I do a lot of things with entertainment, culture, film, things of that nature. So it's a busy industry. I would say, first and foremost, if you can take advantage of an internship, you can find an internship, please do so. It's a chance to get to learn. And some internships are paid. So you actually can learn the field that you want to be in, or you think you want to be in, because you might learn from this experience that that's not what you want to do as well. So and you can get the opportunity to be paid for it. But even if you're not paid for it, still take advantage of it, because it will teach you so much. So I feel that if you have an opportunity to do an internship, please do so. Yes, definitely take advantage of something like that. Your field, talk to people, reach out to people. We follow so many people on social media. follow people that have the same interest or that are doing what it is that you want to do. Reach out, ask, say, hey, I'm a student at blah blah blah. I'm interested in what you're doing. Just wanted to know if maybe I could ask you a question or two. Don't be afraid to do that. Please don't be afraid. I know sometimes we have so many reservations, or we think that people are going to think a certain way about us. No, let those walls down, the guards down, and just go for it, because you never know what will come out of it. So take advantage of as many opportunities as you can.